Hi, this is E.T., and this is James Howard Snook. In August of 1920, Snook represented the winning U.S. Olympic shooting team in Antwerp, Belgium. And on February 28, 1930, Snook died by electrocution strapped into Ohio's infamous Old Sparky electric chair, the only Olympian to so die. In 1926, Snook was a respected professor of veterinary science at the University of Ohio in Columbus. He was a family man, and he's still famous for his Olympic medal and inventions. In that year, 1926, he began an affair. It was with an assistant at the university. Her name was Theora Hicks, H-I-X. She's young, very bright. She's a second-year medical student. She was known to drink heavily, to use, a variety of illegal substances, and engage in amorous acts that might, even today, be typed as kinky. For their get-together, Snook rented a room using his first and middle names, James Howard. That was for his lover's hideaway. But a problem arose several months into their frolicking when a very jealous Theora threatened to, according to Snook, kill Snook's wife and children if he left her. Theora's last threat was on June 13, 1929. They were both in a car outside a pistol range. Snook, using a hammer that he got from his glove compartment and a pocket knife, killed Hicks and dumped her body right outside on the ground. Then he drove home. When police found the body the next day, detectives quickly discovered who she was and her relationship with Snook, which, by the way, was an open secret to all except the Snook family. The detectives found Hicks's blood in Snook's car, on his clothes, on his hammer, on his knife. A little over a month later, Snook was giving testimony in court. He claimed that Hicks threatened to kill his family and pursued a seriously debased lifestyle that drug him in. He said she used pharmaceuticals from the veterinary lab, but the tactic failed, especially when the jury heard that Snook had himself taken the drugs that she used from the laboratory. And they were upset that he blamed his lover for things that he obviously enjoyed himself. The jury deliberated for half an hour and found him guilty of first-degree murder, which in Ohio in the 1920s meant a mandatory death sentence. The judge on August 14, 1929, this is just 2 months after the killing, condemned Snook to die in the electric chair. On February 29, 1930, as the U.S. economy was beginning to tank and the Great Depression was beginning, the famed, respectable James Howard Snook had his last meal. He had a visit with his wife and an old friend and a priest. The next morning at 7 o'clock, 7 minutes after Snook was escorted to the very bright green room with the mug shots of previous men who met their last on Old Sparky, he was strapped in and electrocuted with increasing and decreasing voltages and amperages, and it took about 2 minutes. At 7:11, Snook was pronounced dead. Snook's grave headstone reads, James Howard, no mention of Snook. That was the name he used to rent his love nest. This whole story, from Hicks's death to Snook's execution, although very brief by contemporary standards, drew an equal amount of world interest in newspapers and on radio as some of the more infamous crimes of the century stories that you've heard about. The limited time between the crime, the trial, the conviction, and execution are evidence that once the legal system performed quickly and performed justice. This is E.T. If you liked, well, maybe not exactly enjoyed this story, but if you liked it, okay, tap the thumb up icon. Share these videos on social media. Thank you.